Hello and welcome everyone to another episode of Ask Dr. Zaino Live. Welcome. We've got people on the line live right now watching in from cairothoughtleaders.com/ask-dr-zaino. I know if you're here live, you already know that, but there's a lot of people that watch the show post on YouTube. And so I want them to make sure that they know we're here live every Wednesday night at 8 p.m. And so if you're looking on this page, you'll see that there's social media links. I know there's some of you that probably still haven't hit all of those links. Make sure you do. Facebook, Google+, Twitter, pin it, and LinkedIn. And then right below that, I want you to log into the chat role. I know that not everybody logs into the chat role, but we've got, let's see, 20 chiropractors right now logged in. And this will allow you to ask questions live and get them answered live right here on the show. And we really appreciate your participation. I know we've already got several questions in there right now, so thank you guys for doing that. And then tonight and over the next few weeks, you're going to see a lot of Dr. Patrick Gentimpo's philosophy formula, and they're doing that. They're launching that right now. I'm going back through and watching all of the videos. Even the free training videos are awesome. I highly recommend it. And that image at the bottom of the page there, you'll see that. You can just click on the image. It'll take you right to that opt-in sequence, and you can start watching those live videos with us. I believe if you're not watching live right now, I think the link is actually philosophyformula.com/CTL for Chiro Thought Leaders. So philosophyformula.com/CTL, and it'll take you to that page. So with me tonight, my good buddy, Dr. Chris Zaino. How are you?
Hey everybody, thanks for being on. What's up, Dr. T? All right, let's get to it. What do we got?
All right, we got some questions here. Let's see. The first one. Thanks for all the amazing info. I had a question about what Roberto Monaco said to do with our DR and our DT. I recorded them both and have the scripts from SpeechPad. He said to clean up the language and then re-record via reading it into your headphones or into your phone and then listen to this. Would it be valuable to have him review it and give suggestions? I know that was a question coming from the live training that we did with Roberto for the Psychology of Speaking program. By the way, if you guys don't know about that, go to psychologyofspeaking.com. It's awesome. It was an awesome program. And the live show, Roberto did say to do those things. They actually give your DR, give your dinner, and then record that, send it to speechpad.com, and they will transcribe it for you. That way you can clean it up, record it again, and then just keep listening to that. Yes. And by the way, that video training, that private training, I've posted it in the members area. So if you're a member of psychologyofspeaking.com, you can log into the members area, scroll all the way to the bottom, and you can watch that video, that live training that we did with them over and over as many times as you can. I think the question for Dr. Zaino here, and I would think I already know the answer here, would it be valuable to have Roberto review it and give suggestions?
Well, the first thing, if you don't have the program, I would get that first, because then a lot of your questions may be answered.
Yeah.
And then, but definitely, if you do have the program, and then you'll understand the value of Roberto, then absolutely contact him. Tell you, you're a Chiro Thought Leader, and Roberto will work something out with you, whether it be going to one of his events or actually working one-on-one with them, or to review. I would definitely contact him at Roberto. What's it? Roberto at influenceology.com.
Right.
Tabor will put that below, so you'll see that. But yeah, definitely reach out, do something, start the relationship there, and I mean, because just to have even another set of eyes look at it, like Roberto. Like for me, he saw a lot of blind spots that I didn't see, and that was the key. The key wasn't doing my doctor's report over and over again, getting it transcribed over and over again to read, because all I was doing was rereading and redoing the same blind spots, because I didn't see them. And so when Roberto was able to see it and see the blind spots, then he took me and made me better. He didn't give me a script to read. It just was taking what we do. He's going to take what you do, show you some blind spots, show you taking you and rearranging it a little bit to make it even better. So I definitely highly recommend his set of eyes and ears on that.
Okay, and I am, oops, I guess I didn't copy it. Well, All right, let me get back here and put that on me. So I will make sure that that email address, it is roberto@influenceology.com. I just looked at it, and I will post that in the live chat below here in just a second. Roberto's awesome. All right, so, okay, Ryan, he says, hey guys, just wanted to say that this info is invaluable. I really appreciate what you are doing. Just wanted to know if you archive these shows somewhere. I would love to go back and review prior episodes. Yes, it is. And then I know this is Ryan Breverman. I actually sent you an email reply and the link to our YouTube channel. But guys, if you go to youtube.com and you just search Chiro Thought Leaders, you'll see all the videos and all the episodes. We're on episode 33 right now, and you'll have access to all the other episodes on YouTube. They're all archived there. So.
Yeah, make sure you subscribe so you never miss. You know, if you subscribe to the channel, then you'll make sure you never miss an episode. So subscribe.
Absolutely. If they would have let me put a YouTube button underneath that video up there, I would, but they won't let me. All right. So another question. Okay, this is from Ryan too. So I have a dinner-related question. We are very clear at the dinner that the dinner is only for people above the age of 25 when we call and confirm people's leads. They agree, and then each and every dinner we have people who bring their children. Yeah. Last dinner we told them that they couldn't attend with a child because we've told others they can't bring their children, and it is also disruptive to others. They have proceeded to bash us on Facebook, social media, etc. How do you handle this?
Ryan, brother, every freaking dinner the same shit happens. I'm telling you right now. It's like, I remember I went in the last dinner. I'm like, Carla, it's a freaking like 6-month-old in there, or like a 1-year-old. I told him, Dr. Zaino. I'm like, and I know she does. And they just think they could go ahead and bring it anyway. So I'm like, okay, we'll just let them know that one of them is going to have to hang outside with the baby and do that. And they do it because a lot of people are there. They're there for the free dinner, and they'll put up with, you know, they'll leave and stuff like that. And that's the first part. So you have to do it. Like, because imagine, I mean, if you have a room of 30 people, you know, and someone didn't honor and respect and listen to what you said, and they brought something that could distract the other 30, yeah, it's okay. I wouldn't mind losing that person. And they said, so let's go to the second part. The second part is like, so everybody who does a board complaint on you and everybody who writes bad stuff about you on Facebook or social media, that's like you got to understand, that is the minority, meaning that that's few and far between. But the people that are few and far between that do the board complaint, stuff like that, they cause a big splash and mess, and they're a real pain in your ass. But the thing is, it's like, and all they do is just all they do is try to distract other people and bring people into their pity party. I mean, that's their way of showing significance. That's their human need, is significance. And unfortunately, Facebook and social media is a great way for them to outlet their crap. That if anybody who has any intelligence whatsoever, they'll be able to see through that. I mean, and you don't invest in it. Don't put any effort into it, because if you put your energy and effort into replying back or bashing back or not asking them to politely leave, worried about you'll have some bad review on Yelp, then you're going to compromise, and you're going to be actually investing your time and energy in desperation, not inspiration. So like when it comes to all these reputation companies, hey, Dr. Zaino, we see you have a lot of some complaint reviews online, you know, for $300, $500, $1,000 a month. We could knock those off Google, or we could push them down. They never get knocked off. And I'm like, I don't invest in desperation. I only invest in inspiration. I'm not going to put any money towards that, you know. So don't worry about it, man. I mean, if you're telling the truth, you know, people are going to complain. People are not going to like you. That's fine. And you know what? The blood's on their hands. So I used to get frustrated. Be like, they are holding people back from getting true health. You know, they're discouraging people from getting well, and they're going to end up on drugs and medications. And that's what frustrated me. That's why I wanted revenge. That's why I wanted to get even. But I realized that as long as my heart's there, it's like they're the ones getting in the way. They're the subluxation to someone getting well. And if someone's going to let every decision be made on your own accord, basically. So if someone is going to listen to other people and look at the reviews, and that makes their decision, and they don't make their own decision for themselves, and they're not leaders, they're followers. Then I'd rather you be a student or a leader than someone who's following, taking someone else's advice. So that's the only frustrating part, is how many people did they discourage or detract. But I don't pay the price for that. They do. So don't invest in that, and don't worry about it. And yes, every dinner you're going to have you're going to have people walk in late. You're going to have people walk in 30 minutes after the dinner starts. They're going to be turned away. You name it, it's going to happen every dinner, because that's what people do, right? So make that, if you make that a normal expectation, it's not a problem anymore.
Yeah. And you know what? If you're having those problems, then props to you, because you're doing something. You know what? You're out there making things happen, and that's when those types of problems pop up. If you're not making anything happen and you're not doing anything that you should, you wouldn't have those problems, right? So awesome. Keep up the good work, brother. All right. So let's see. Next question. Hey, docs. Thanks for all you have done in the chiropractic community, as well as my own family. What are the biggest lessons you've learned in your 10 to 15 plus years since graduating as a DC that you would tell someone about to start practice? What can I start doing now to save myself years of struggle and frustration down the road? Thanks. I heard this question asked in a different way today. I was listening to some audio, and someone say, like, if you talk to your mentor, ask them, what are the questions I should be asking that I don't even know that I should be asking yet? So that's a great question.
That's great. And then just for me, it's the 10 or 15 years of mistakes and trials and errors and learning experiences that and who you become. The volume you see or the money that's in the bank, that doesn't make you who you are. It's the person you had to become in order to achieve that level. And that's
right.
That's what you want to do. So, I personally feel that when someone such as myself or other people who came before me who worked, it could be anybody who's been in practice 10 years. Everybody's learned something. And you find them and you mentor them. So it used to be kind of the old school thing, used to be coaching. You used to have to, before the internet, you used to have to join a coaching company for 15, 20 grand, and you only have to go to seminars and audio calls, and you're learning from their experience. Their system is their experience. And then with the internet today, you could do shows like we're doing right now. Dr. Tabor makes amazing, online video products where you could literally get coaching, all the experience. So when we do that dinner program, the dinner program isn't just me talking to Roberto. You're talking about, when I think of that dinner program and any product we do, there's blood and sweat and tears and pain and scars. Like every product we do, I am scarred up from, meaning that I took a lot of hits and a lot of scars, same with Dr. Tabor, to learn lessons. And so we're able, when we could just package them in a way, and like if I had that entire system, that's why we did the Zaino experience. And when we have students before they graduate college come to a Zaino experience and learn everything from A to Z, they literally save themselves 10 to 15 years. There's docs coming out of school a year later, killing it to the point, a year later, one doc, he's even finding associates to run his practice so he could open up more practices. That's 1 year. It's like, wow, he's so more advanced. Why is he advanced? Because he just learned the systems. And then when you learn it from those who came, who have been doing it, thought leaders, that's why I have thought leaders, is then as you perfect that, then you start innovating it, evolving it, and making your own. And so I really think I've, truthfully, have done a great job in innovating and making things happen on a high level. Even right now in my life, presently, I found even more innovative ways, and I became even more resourceful to run my entire practice 100%. I could run my entire practice and see all the patients and adjust all the patients, do all the x-rays, review all the x-rays, do all the doctor's reports, do all the dinners. I could personally do all of that, and I will do all of that, and currently I am doing all of that. But I know I am better with a really good team. You follow what I'm saying? So I could even be better with a great team, but you have to know that you have to know to yourself, I could do everything the office needed to be if I had to, and I would. So that's what I'm doing now. So, but you learn from that. And when you have to do that, you become innovative. You learn, you become more efficient. more people in the office, there's more talking going on. You know, so just, I'm telling you that we have all any doctor who's been in practice, I don't care if they see 10 people a week, if they've been in practice for 10 years, they made a lot of mistakes and they made a lot of victories, and that's what you learn from. So that's what I did when I first came out. I went around to doctors and observed them, paid for them, worked with them for free to learn, you know, to learn from them, to model them. And then I modeled them exactly. That's one thing I get. I'm a fast implementer, but I am a great modeler. I will model it. I will act it to the T. Even if I didn't understand it, like Dr. Tabor said, even the questions and stuff, I had no idea that were there. I modeled it. I did it anyway. And then as I perfected that, then I started tweaking it and putting my personality and character and creating, evolving, innovating it to what we have now. I mean, that's why we could see what we see. And that's pretty effortless. I mean, yeah, you know, my wrist hurt and stuff like that from adjusting hundreds of people a day, and you know, I would really like help. That wouldn't be a bad thing to help with that. But I mean, it's still doable, easy, and joyful. Have a lot of fun. You know, I'm not exhausted at all. So you can do it all. So that answer your question. Long story short, just like you're doing right now, get all the products, get all the programs, get all the books, get it all. Because you're going to learn. If I spend $1,000 or $2,000 for a product, you know what I'm looking for? I'm looking for one thing. You understand? Like, I'll tell you right now. You'll know later on that you go to a seminar, not to change it. I go to a seminar. I just need one idea, and that's all you need. All you need is 1% more, one idea, because you might be one idea away, or of opening up a door that you walk through to tremendous success. Like Dr. Tabor talks about Tiger. You know, it's like the wet paper towel, and you add in a cherry and a cherry and a cherry and a cherry, and then all of a sudden it breaks through. So you may be 1% away or one idea away. So where do you get the idea from? You don't get the idea sitting on your ass. You know, you might get the idea on this show, at a seminar. You might be listening to a radio, watching a movie, talking to a friend, meeting a coach. So you might get that one or two ideas that's needed to break through. And when you break through, man. I'll tell you right now. I remember when we went from 600 a week, 700 a week to 2,000 a week in a year, there was a breakthrough. And the breakthrough wasn't some minor event or one event that happened. It was just something broke through where I realized I changed my philosophy. Not philosophy of chiropractic, but my philosophy of what I'm created to do, what I'm supposed to do. So if I changed my philosophy, my actions changed. That means I started reading a little couple pages of a green book. So little habits, little green book, started putting a little audio on my car, little habits, little changes. But those little changes on a daily basis equaled tremendous success. Just like errors in thinking, errors in philosophy, errors in judgment, or no action on a daily basis, or blind spots you don't know about, it's called accumulated disaster. Remember, so everybody on this line, you are currently exactly where you're at right now because it's the accumulation of all the choices you have made up until this point. Every choice you make will determine the direction and the destination you're going to land in. So when you have all these choices, every choice, you know, steers you a certain way. So just start to future pace. Think the choice I'm making today, what's that going to look like 5, 10 years from now? And then you'll be able to look back and be like, wow, that wasn't a good choice. Or, for instance, this is a good rant. You know, everybody would love to have, you know, eat pizza and hamburgers every day or ice cream. We would. So it's short-term gratification. But usually short-term gratification leads to long-term destruction. And versus where let's say we take the disciplined approach where we eat correctly or we drink water only and stuff like that. Yes, it doesn't satisfy you. It's not glamorous. It's not a comforty feeling, but it leads to long-term success. You follow what I'm saying? So a lot of times it's just that, you know, vodka and water look identical. They're both liquids. You drink one, nothing happens. You drink one, you get a buzz and you feel good. So just think it, instant gratification goes for the more destructive things, where the discipline now, and you know, just being a little bit disciplined now will give you long-term success later. So it really is a discipline in the choices you make. So there you go.
Speaking of Tiger, he just bought him a new 2016 Lamborghini Hurricane.
Yeah.
It's nice, man. It's lime
Color.
green. He let me drive around lime green with black wheels and everything. And dude, that thing looks like a jet. You sit in there and you have to like flip up the guards on all the buttons before you can press the buttons.
Was it fast as balls?
Yeah, man. It's so fast. It's unbelievable. Yeah, dude, it's crazy.
Yeah,
Speaking of Tiger, though, he always tells me his saying, because he was a student of Jim Rohn. That's how he makes, like, his business does $5 million a year. And he always tells me success is something you attract by the person you become. And, you know, every time we get to talk about procedures and all these things, he's like, you know, procedures are great, but it's the person that you become, and then those procedures start to work, you know. So,
yeah, and Jim Rohn also says that, you know, what you pursue eludes you. Like what you pursue eludes you. You know, you chase, like chasing the butterfly. You just can't get it. Where instead of pursuing it, you become the person that attracts it.
That's exactly right. You know, it's funny that we're talking about this because I listened to Jim Timpo's first video on the philosophy formula, and this is very similar to what he talks about, how the base of the pyramid has to be your philosophy and your purpose, because that's the cause. And then once you get your philosophy and your purpose right, the effect is your psychology, your procedures, and your prosperity that starts to come. Right? It's an effect, not the cause.
Yeah, you're absolutely correct. I definitely say, you know, I can honestly tell you that it is not the procedures. They help, because the procedures have a philosophy behind them. I think that's why they work so well. But like that's the thing, because I know the philosophy behind the procedure, why and where it's coming from. But I mean, I guess that's why there's a lot of people that could go do dinners.
Yeah.
And they feel they're not good at them or they suck at them. And some of you are doing dinners. Most of you on the line, you're doing dinners and you're destroying it because it just really. You know, it's, you know what I mean? Inside, like Dr. Tabor said, there's something inside. Like someone's doing dinners to get new patients. You guys are doing dinners to save lives.
That's right.
You know what I mean? It's just a bigger thing. And I really, yes, but the words are the same. Or maybe your words are not as perfected, but you get better results. Why? Because there's just this intention and philosophy that comes through you. Personal philosophy. Remember, we're not talking about chiropractic philosophy. Just a personal belief system, how you see the world.
Yeah.
That really makes a huge difference.
Absolutely. Awesome. Great question. That was brought out a lot of good, answers there. Okay, so next question. Do you have a flat rate for a first visit? Example, in my office, I'm struggling with patients not wanting x-rays because if they get x-rays, it's $97. If they get an adjustment, it's $40. How do you base your fees for the first visit, and what is the phone conversation?
They really don't have an option. Our first visit is this. Whatever you want to charge, 150, 400, you name it, and this is what we do. So you see, like, I think your patients are dictating their care. Your office. Your office is like a McDonald's, you know, or a Burger King, you know, or Subway.
Yeah.
No.
You know, what I would say is, like, you know, if your exam is 40 and your x-rays are 97, make it 140 for that exam, and you're getting x-rays. You know what I mean? And then then that's just what you do. So,
like, you don't give it an option. It's like you're the doctor. Get Fred Barge's book. Fred Barge goes, "Are you the doctor? Doctor." Great book. And that's the truth. Are you the doctor? Doctor, meaning that you're the doctor.
Yeah.
These people don't know what health is. Otherwise, they wouldn't have the problems they have. You know it. So it's like, so for you to, you know, I know, but I think you said it right. I'm struggling. Like you're needy. You know, you're in that needy phase. I understand. But the thing is, be the doctor. And then when you're the doctor, hey, this is, you know what? That's why, like, if you know the answer to this, if you had 50 new patients a month, this question wouldn't even be a problem for you. Because you know what, there might have been 1 or 2 people that didn't want to do the x-rays, and then because you might have had 8 or 10 new patients, that's like, wow, it's like, or 6 new patients, you're like, crap, that's a third of my, you know. But if you had 50 and 2 didn't like it or 3 didn't like it, like we had a lady, you know, did the new patient, she, you know, what her son has ADHD, and she came to us because she says, you know what, we don't want to put on meds. I felt this was the place we need to bring him. Great. So, you know, I'm like, all right, well, I'm gonna take his pictures because I can't tell you if we can help him or not. I gotta, you know, I'm not gonna answer any questions right now because I don't know what the heck's going on, right? So we're gonna take some x-rays, and then I'll bring you back to your doctor's report. It's either a Tuesday or Thursday night at 6 p.m. along with your husband, and then we'll go through everything there. We're gonna go over the cause of the condition, how long it takes to correct the problem. We're going to go over all the financial costs, so please bring a form of payment. And we're going to talk about the work plan to get your son from point A to point Z. All right, so I'm going to have Joseph take the x-ray, and then he'll bring you to Shanna, and you just book it right there. And so she was okay. She's like, my husband will be coming into town Thursday. It's going to be for tomorrow night. And she called today. She says, I didn't like your new patient packet. Okay, what else? I don't like that my husband has to come. And Shannon's like, well, if you had cancer, wouldn't you want to know? And she got offended by that. But really, then I told Shannon that was fine because, you know, she canceled an appointment, this and that, because what happened was the husband didn't want to go. And so she just got frustrated on that. And then she just transferred that to your staff. So I think when people get upset at you, it's just because you're challenging a belief system, or you're showing them that maybe they realize that, you know, everybody knows what they should do and they don't. They're trying to like find the confusion of, you know, you're showing them the incongruency of their philosophy. So it's okay. You know, I actually celebrate that. I'm like, Shannon, thanks for sticking to the principles, because what? She was going to come with her kid. Kid has ADHD. Here's a $4,000 care plan. This is what needs to be done. Here's subluxation. Dad's not going to get it. Kid's not going to get care. And it was 100% waste of our time. That's it. So you stick to your manifesto. This is how we do it. Great. Awesome, Shannon. High five. You know, so that's why, you know, that's why it's just a, you know, get to the level where you don't even think about it. It's like, you're coming in, this is how we do it. Well, I don't want to do it.
Right.
Okay, then.
You know, when those type of people do make it to financials, I always dread it, you know, because it's not going to be fun. They're not going to, even if they didn't like your first day procedures, they're not going to like the financials you give them at the end of the second day, third day, whatever it is. And I remember one time that I was seeing about maybe 20, 30 new patients a month. And a good friend of mine is Philip Cordova. I don't know if you know him. He's down in the Galleria area, owns a couple offices there. And I remember I was going over some of my procedures with him, and I was like, man, I need to get this down and that. And he's like, you don't need to worry about your procedures. You need to worry about your new patient numbers. Like, you don't have a procedure problem. You got a new patient problem, and you got to go get that up, you know. And I started doing more talks, more screenings. And when you got those new patients up, you know, and we're having 60, 70, 80 new patients in a month, I actually don't want those people who are complainers to even make it to the financials, because it's just going to waste my time and get in my way to getting to the next person that's actually going to have a good financial, you know? So.
Tabor, I think you really hit it on the head. And for everybody watching right now, one way, because if you ever feel that neediness, that is a cure right there.
Yeah.
Just wouldn't it be worth it to do an extra talk or a couple extra screenings? Or like I said, you do one dinner a month, you get your referrals, ask a couple patients at the table, who do you know, bring your friends in, tell others. Wouldn't that be worth that little bit of extra effort and discipline to then take away the feeling of neediness? Because it is a downward spiral. Talk about beating yourself up, because you start compromising, you start letting them lead the, inmates run the prison, so to speak. And you really start to see, wow, I'm compromising just to get this person to like me. And because you're needy, like, I need this. So I imagine if you get an extra 20 new patients a month, that really solves a lot of problems. Like Tabor said, all of a sudden, the shift is instantaneous. You're like, wow, I got 20 new patients this week. There's no, I mean, you know, you're not worried. You're just worried about getting through it. Number one, and number two, you're efficient, you're sharp. And one or two don't like it, you're like, well, sorry, you know, I got 18 other people who want it. And it's really a good, start thinking of it that way. Like, you know, is it worth the extra time, the money, and the investment to take away the feeling of neediness, insecurity, compromise, and worry when it comes to new patients, where you get new patients that it really is a panacea, so to speak. Like, it cures a lot of, like, insecurities in the office, you know, because you're like, wow, I got so many new people, you know, you're not really, you know, spouses have to come, like, you're coming from a leadership state at that point. It's a really good place to be.
Right on. Well, I know we have a couple other questions.
Yeah, let's do it. Let's do one more.
All right. Awesome. Let's do it. This is a good question, actually. I like this question. What are your thoughts on patients coming to a doctor's report before their initial exam? What's the conversation your CAs would have with them? Seems like it would pre-qualify them for care.
Who's that?
This is Dr. Neil.
Neil, that is the ultimate. I was even talking to the ultimate, and I will get there, is if you want to become a patient in the office, you go to a doctor's report. And the doctor's report, you explain everything. You go everything. You talk about the care plan. You just talk about the numbers and everything. And then you basically end. And if you want this, at this point right now, if you want this, you know everything up front. We'll take your x-rays right now and set you up for your entire family to do so as well. And they could even pay for it ahead of time. And if this is not for you, then thank you for your time. So that would be the ultimate.
Yeah, it would.
Right? I mean, so that's what it'd be. So let's say, I'm thinking how that works. So the dinner was kind of a prequel to that, right? So they go to the dinner, they hear it, and they're like, yeah, I want to come in. And really the day one is a formality. I'm like, the day one should be after a dinner.
The day one should be like, if your doctor's report's at 7, the day one should be like at 6:30 for everyone. It's just take your x-rays or something,
Yeah, I mean, that would be a good one. So, or even now, we do the dinner, and the day one should be just take their x-rays and then bring them to a DR. But no, what he's saying is like, no, like.
Yeah, no, I like it.
It's like almost the dinner becomes the DR.
Well, I mean, how pre-qualified would they be if they already knew what the care plan was, they already knew what the price was, they already knew exactly what you did. We just need to find out if you're qualified for it by taking your x-rays and seeing your spine, and then if you qualify, you know what I mean? Like, that's what we're doing.
Well, you can even take the qualification away, because that's, honestly, we know that's bullshit. Everybody's qualified. I mean, everybody's got a spine. So if you just take it to the level of, this is just the blind spot in your life that you never knew about. This is what it is. This is what we start. And then, that's it, and, you got some takers, but, my belief system's still at the point, I'm like, well, you want to get them to the exam, because it's just the old dogma. But imagine if you just didn't know any better. Imagine if you came out of school and you didn't know any better. You're like, listen, you just invite people to this big talk. You explain what you do. And if you want it, sign up over there. If you don't, thank you so much for your time, and hopefully you enjoy the dinner. I mean, we could really make the dinner into your report of findings. Only thing I would have to do is show x-rays. Just get like a screen and show x-rays on it. And then go over the price. So the dinner, you wouldn't be going for $150. You'd be going for $3,500.
Yeah.
And then maybe
there's people that do that. I mean, there's people who sell $2,000, $3,000 online products at a presentation when they're up there on stage. That's basically what you're doing, is you're selling your product that you have.
How about at the fair when people they're selling $1,500, $2,000 pots and pans?
Yeah, or massage chairs.
How about that?
Yeah.
How about that for a thing? I remember I was at Parker, and we, Tabor, you remember they had that state fair, and you had to work it. Remember that?
Oh yeah.
Do you remember?
You had to do that. Yeah.
It was like 2 weeks in a row, right? So you got some clinic hours. So you went there, and Parker had a huge booth, and these people were selling pots and pans, and they were like $2,000.
Wow.
I was like, holy shit, $2,000 for pots and pans. But you know what? They were selling those things, and they just what they did. Every couple minutes, they did this, this little demonstration, and I mean, $2,000. I remember when the Vitamix used to come out, it was like $1,000, like $1,000 for a blender, because they just built value, and it was numbers. It was a numbers game.
Yeah.
God, I mean, just think the value of a pot. Like, I mean, it's great. Also, let's switch gears here. So you have a person. Watch this. You have a person who could sell pots and pans for $2,000, right? But yet, as doctors, we want to hire associates that could do that. But the thing is, that person may or may not even have a college degree, but they're a good worker and they're gifted. They're not gifted. They're just, through their experience of maybe not having a college degree, they had to work since they were 13 or 14 or 15. They had to speak to people, get rejected over and over again, become great salespeople, great persuaders, great leaders. And then so really in the office, all you need a doctor of chiropractic for is what? The adjustment. So a lot of times I kind of made the mistakes thinking, well, we need an associate to be, like Dr. Franson says, a unicorn. I'm a unicorn. I could do the market, I could do whatever. But it's like, a lot of times that we're finding doctors that, we put the pressure that they have to go talk and be this tremendous person selling pots and pans for $2,000, and they can't. We're looking for eagles, and we're hiring ducks, and we want the ducks to become eagles. It just doesn't work that way. and it puts a bad expectation on them, and it just bad expectation for you because they're not meeting your standards. So just think about it in your office. Imagine if you were to hire someone that was, that was the really good speaker, and they worked, and they might not have a college degree, and they would totally be thankful and grateful for their job. They would work on almost all commission because they know they're survivors. That's what they had to do. And a lot of times I think in chiropractic, we're looking for someone out of school who's going to be able to do that, or if yourself to do that, and you're just not, it's just not you, where really in your office, your entire office could be ran by really good, hardworking people, and you just need a doctor of chiropractic to adjust. That's all that's needed by a chiropractor. And here, for my whole entire 10 years, I'm thinking 15 years, 11 years almost, that I try to find someone who could do it all. And if the one area they didn't do well in, you would get frustrated at. So back to the value part of it, that's what you could do. So he's absolutely right. So whether we did it to sell it for $2,000, but how about this, Tabor? If we got that person who sold pots and pans for $4,000, $2,000, whatever it is, and hired them and said, listen, I have a side job for you. We do this dinner, and you just kind of explain this right here. This will teach you how to explain it. And then at the end, the close is this. That they're used to that. They wouldn't even have to, they're like, okay, that's what I got to do. Sure.
Yeah, that's
because they're used to that. But for us chiropractors, free is easy. 40 is a little rough. 150 is like, oh, are you kidding me? But then, to take it to the next level, it's just a mindset thing.
You're right.
So.
Yeah, no, that's exactly right. That's interesting.
Yeah, Neil, that is the ultimate. That would be the ultimate. I don't even know why I'm not doing that right now. It's like, if you want to become a patient, here's what you do. You come to the doctor's report. We explain everything. You learn absolutely everything up front, and then you go from there.
Yeah. And I think people would probably appreciate it because you would actually take up less of their time doing that, and if they weren't right for it. So
I've heard of old timers doing that. Not old timers. I want to say like there's some doctors around the world that they're just they're unattached, meaning that they have a doctor's report in the morning.
Mm-hmm.
It starts off with 20 people. It ends, by the time they're done, there's 10 left. There's 8 left because everybody else walked out. And they go from there, just all over the world. So but we don't know their names. Why? Because they're not ego driven. They're not attached, and they practice the way they want to practice,
That's right. Yep. Well, let me throw this last one in there before we close it out. It's just a quick one. When patients come in for their first time expecting to be adjusted, how do you explain to them that you don't adjust in the first visit and to get them on board with delaying care until after the ROF?
Yeah, well, we go, Shannon, the front desk goes, we don't accept anybody. We don't accept everybody here as a patient. We have very specific requirements of these patients. First, the doctors need to do a full, thorough exam to make sure, taking x-rays to make sure that they can accept you as a patient. We need to see what's going on. We got to totally, they spend time with your case. We need to be able to guarantee results. What that means is we need to be able to know through the stress x-rays that their spine can correct to a certain degree that we would like it to. So all these other things. So basically, we're going to gather the information, and we wouldn't dare guess.
Right.
That's why we test. What we do is we're very thorough. We get all the information we need because we want to give you the best care you need. So if we were to go in and rush an adjustment, we're guessing. It's almost like it's almost like a dentist going in and drilling on a bunch of teeth without taking their X-rays and not knowing where the abscess was. They just started drilling. It's not going to work out. So you just explain it to them. Listen. You make it a plus. You make it the difference. Be like, hey, listen, most places, they might just throw you on the table and manipulate the crap out of you. I mean, this is like the thought behind it. They might go and they might start treating you immediately, but you know what? They haven't done a full, thorough exam and x-rays. They haven't studied those areas, and they might be missing some very, very serious things, ligament damage, or they might not even know, be adjusting you in the right way. So we don't want to take any guess whatsoever because this is your health and you want the best health possible. Isn't that correct? That's what Fred would say. And you're here because you want the best health possible. When it comes to your health, you don't want anybody to take guesses. You want the best care, correct? So in order for us to give you the best care, this is what we have to do. And then you get them back. But again, it's that leadership,
It is, and I think most of the time, at least in my office, those people that want to be adjusted that day are the ones that are in pain, and all they're thinking is that your adjustment will get them out of pain. But if you say something like, you know what, the last thing I would want to do is adjust you wrong and make that worse, then they start thinking, oh shit, it could get worse. Like, you know what I mean? And then usually they're all right with it, because they never even thought about you could adjust them wrong. They're with you and they're like, okay, yeah, do what you got to do to figure it out, you know. So,
I would say maybe 1 out of 200-300 people.
Yeah, it's not very much.
Will do, and then yeah, a couple times like, you know,
yeah,
you didn't show up for your DR. Oh yeah, I went down to the joint and got adjusted. I feel better now.
Yeah, and you know what? That goes a little bit with that scarcity thing we were talking about. Because when you're so busy and you got people waiting to be adjusted, and you finish the exam, and you're like, look, you know, you say that because I'm like, I don't have time to adjust you right now. Plus, I don't even know what your spine looks like, so you're just gonna have to deal with that. That's not the procedures. I got to go adjust all these other people right now, you know. So like, I'm thinking I got out of that mindset of like, I have to like make this guy happy to be, you know, because I'm busier, you know.
You know, it's coming like Dr. Fred. I love that. If we accept you, you throw that, you know, in order to accept you, if we accept you. So like, you let them know it's an interview.
Right.
Right off the bat.
Right on. Some great questions tonight, ladies and gentlemen. Appreciate everybody being on here. Over 30 people on here still, even though we went over. And we just want to say how much we appreciate y'all being on every week. And thank you, Dr. Zaino. You are awesome.
Thanks, guys.
And,
appreciate it.
All right. We'll sign off, and we'll see you guys on the next show. Have a great night, and have a great rest of your week.